And from the hollers and hills of West Virginia, it's Heavenly Hills Homestead with another episode. Stay tuned. Boo! So here's how it goes for a GPC weigh off, guys. You go to these weigh offs, and every weigh off is different. What you get paid is differently, and so you kind of gotta navigate things. In your first year, you're going to be learning quite a bit. All right, but here is my input, my take on how to go about going to weigh offs. All right, so first of all, you need to look at your weigh offs that are within reasoning for you. You know, what ones do you want to go to that are close enough for you to go to, that are worth your time to go to, right? Whether it's, you know, that they're close enough in distance, or, you know, maybe it's a money, you know, maybe you need to know how much money the payout is. So whichever one it is, or maybe it's both. Just take a look at it and see if it's worth your time and your effort. All right. The next thing you need to think about is the dates, right? And what day your pumpkins have to be set in order to make that. Now, things can happen. You can have pumpkins go down, and you may end up having to take another one. That's why I grew backups to my backups and backups to my backups. Okay, so I had plenty of pumpkins last year, right? It's harder to do, and the other pumpkins don't get nearly as big. All right, so it's kind of not worth growing those. I mean, if they're going to be less than 500 pounds, it's really not worth growing them, right? So you really got to kind of get 500 plus pounds. 6, 7-ish would be more ideal in order to sustain some kind of money for these events, or have a chance at it, rather. But I encourage everybody to go. If you're only in it just to grow and have fun, and which I am, I'm in it to grow and have fun, but my hobby costs money, and money has to be made somewhere, shape, or form in order for me to continue doing my hobby. And so I make that money at the weigh offs. I make that money by selling my pumpkins, and I make that money by selling the seeds out of the pumpkins. All right, and I try to make sure that I'm doing right by everybody. This year, I probably won't sell my pumpkins like I did last year. I'll probably only sell them to people who I have a guaranteed contract of some sort that I get my seeds back, because I want my seeds back. No more not getting my seeds back. The other thing is I've talked to a lot of growers up north that sell their pumpkins and stuff, and it's money in hand. You take my pumpkin, then you give me my money right then and there. You're responsible for that pumpkin. It's no longer my deal. You look at the pumpkin, you decide it's solid and it's sound, there's nothing wrong with it, and you buy that pumpkin right then and there, and you give me my money, and I'll walk on home. I'm not going to be liable, responsible, or anything for what happens to that pumpkin a week later. I understand that it's, you know, better for people to you know, have a pumpkin that lasts a month or whatever. But at the same time, once that pumpkin leaves my hands, I'm not with it for those days. I don't know what goes on, and anything can happen. Anything can happen and not be my fault, right? And then I'm screwed out of my money. So from now on, I think we're just gonna have to handle it as a, it's pumpkin. You want the pumpkin? Fine, that's fine. You pay me my money, you can have the pumpkin, and but I got to get my seeds back. So these are experienced growers that I've been talking to that's been doing this, and they've done it for years. They get their seeds back, and they get their money in hand, right? And I think it's really only fair. So make sure you do that, okay? You do what you want to do, but I'm just telling you what the advice was given to me, and it sounded like pretty solid advice. So the other thing is you need to, when you're mapping out your times for your grow offs, right, or your weigh offs rather, you want to make sure that you count back 100 days from that date. So Virginia State Fair is September 23rd through October 2nd. There's a GPC weigh off at the Virginia State Fair, and I need to count back 100 days from September 23rd, and that's the day, no later than that I should pollinate my pumpkin. Okay, it can be before that, but it can't be no later than that, because I need at least 100 days guaranteed that it'll grow. Now, it might not grow past 80 or 90, but I need that 100 days just in case it does. The other thing is, you look at the prize money. Virginia State Fair prize money, first place is $400, right? It's not a lot of money, and it's like 4 hours and 20 minutes away from me. I'm going to try to stick within the 6-hour limits. Don't want to go no further than 6 hours. I don't want to go 6 hours, but definitely don't want to go over 6 hours, especially with a giant pumpkin on my truck, right? So, and watermelons and every other thing that I'm going to have this year, because I'm going to be taking a lot to these weigh offs, which will bring me up to another point here in a minute. But the $400 will pay for gas. It'll pay for a hotel. Might put a little bit of money in my pocket. I'll bring that pumpkin home. If I can't sell it there, I'll bring it home. I'll sell it, and for $400 to $600, I'll sell it here, and that gives me a good amount of money out of the pumpkin to put back towards the next grow, and then I'll get the seeds out of that pumpkin, which the amount of money I make out of that is really unknown, because right now my most expensive seed is $10 for the seed, or you can get 2 of them for $15. So that's my most expensive seed, right? There's other guys out here that can sell seeds $25, $50, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 for a seed. Okay, so it just depends on a lot of things, right? There's a lot of unknowns that area is there, but it does produce some money in the off season to put toward the next season, right? So that's why I want my seeds back. Plus, I want to grow my own stuff, right? I want to grow my seed line. I want to build my seed line. So I don't want to sell a pumpkin and then somebody get it and then just take all those genetics and all that love and everything and toss it over their hillside or whatever they do in a trash can or whatever, and get rid of these 1,000+ pound pumpkins and all that potential that's in that seed. I cringe when I think about that. So anyhow, going to get that takes care of that. All right, now here's the other part. When you're growing things, and like me last year, I grew the bushel gourd, which I didn't get to take one to. The one I grew, it went down on me. I'm going to try to grow more than one this year, right? I'm going to try to grow several of them, and several different plants, right? And don't know where we're going to put them all, but we're going to put them somewhere. So we're going to have the bushel gourds, the marrows, cantaloupes, watermelons, tomatoes, long gourds, pumpkins, all that stuff, right? If you're going to grow all that stuff, you need to take it all to each weigh off. All right. If you're looking for master gardener, then you need to do your best to grow all 7 of the classes, which is giant pumpkin, giant green squash, okay, giant pumpkin, giant green squash, tomato, long gourd, bushel gourd, marrow, watermelon. All right, there's the 7. So that's the 7 that need to be grown in order to, you only have to grow 5 out of those 7, and the top ones out of that ends up being, you know, your record or whatever you want to call it, right? Now, if all you turn in is 1, and you know, and that's fine. You know, if only, you know, but you got to grow them if you want a master gardener. And like I said, your best ones will become your number for getting that, right? So, anyhow, that's how they do it. So if you grow three watermelon, you turn 3 watermelon in, only your best one counts, your heaviest one counts. Same thing with, you know, pumpkin, squash, bushel gourd, long gourd, marrow. Only your best one counts towards your score. But where 5 helps you is because most people will only grow where the 7 help you, growing all 7 of them helps you, is because most people will only grow 5. They'll only grow 5 out of the 7 because that's all that's required. So that gives them 2 that they don't have to fool with, and they can focus more on the 5. But if you got all 7 turned in, and that helps your average out, right? And it gives you a little bit better of a score. So I think it's better to grow all 7. Field pumpkin was in there. Yeah, field pumpkin is part of that too. So maybe pumpkin and giant pumpkin and giant squash are one and the same. That might be how it works. Anyhow, you can go look at the rules books. You can go look at the rules for Master Gardener, GPC Master Gardener. You can Google it and it'll pop up and tell you all the rules and stuff and what needs to be grown. Anyhow, so those are things you look at. Now, like me, like I'm looking at maybe taking one to West Virginia State Fair, not because of the money. There is no GPC way off, but it'll get my, you know, if I take a really big one down there and I break the record that was there, the record weighed in at 1508 or something like that, I believe it was, is the West Virginia State Fair record. All right, so that's the biggest one ever weighed there. And if I got a pumpkin that's bigger than that, I should take it down there and weigh it and break that record, because it ain't been broke since 2015. Nobody goes to West Virginia State Fair for giant pumpkins because there's no GPC way off and there's no payout really to speak of, so there's not worth their time. But I'm so close, I could take one down there and just for the recognition, take it and go down there and beat the record, and then be able to get a little foot traffic, you know, from the news and stuff on my YouTube channel. So it could benefit me, and if it benefits you like that, I encourage you to do it. But there's other things I can take down there to get me foot traffic. I can take, you know, any of the state records that I think I've beat. All right, by that time, cucumber, watermelon, you know, squashes, you know, whatever. If there's something I think that's already beaten the record, I'll just take it instead of a pumpkin. That'll still give me my foot traffic, right? Carrots, tomatoes, something like that, right? So you kind of you want to be strategic about this stuff. You want to make sure you have a good strategy and a game plan put forward in order to be able to win. Now, the way I'm looking at this is I don't want to come in less than third. I really don't want to come in less than first, right? But there might be some way offs that I will, and knowing that, I'm okay with it, because, like, do I think I'll win North Carolina State Fair this year? Probably not. Probably not. Do I think I got a solid second? Oh yeah. I would have had a solid second last year and another Howard Deal Award. Had my 950 cook, which was over 1,000 pounds, you know, wouldn't have went down. I would have been able to have took second down there, right? Or no, I wouldn't have. I'm sorry. I would not have had a second. I'd have had third, because Terry Nelson came in second. But I would have had a solid third, and a solid third is a good number, okay? Especially at the state fair down there in North Carolina, because they pay really well. You know, third would have been fine, but I ended up dropping down to fourth, I believe, or fifth. No, fourth. I think I had fourth. No, it was fifth. It was fifth place. Yeah, fifth place. So anyhow, if I would have had my other one, I'd have had guaranteed third place, Howard Deal probably, and you know, a lot more money. But taking a 500-pound pumpkin down there, 581-pound pumpkin, I still got $487 or something like that, right, for fifth place. So that's not bad. I mean, it shook out well. Plus, I got, you know, seeds back. So I've done fairly well on that way off, and I'll definitely go to that whether I place first or if I place fifth. Just so as long as I place fifth or higher, I'm good. And I think a lot of times I'll probably end up placing higher. because there's not a lot of people that go down there. And it's toward the end of the year, so a lot of pumpkins go down. And that's what happened to me last year. It went down, but I had a backup. So, you know, it pays off to go to that state fair for sure. I'm going to try to go to the Virginia State Fair. I'm going to try to set the record there and take their money. You know, it's just what it is. Don't know about yakking yet, and don't know about Spring Hope yet. Probably will try those, but if I can't come in second, then probably not. Probably not going to do it. I'm not going to go down there. Now, I might take some things down there, but not a giant pumpkin. I'm going to take my giant pumpkins where I know that those 3 giant pumpkins that I'm planning on growing, I'm going to grow more than that, but I need 3 to get my jacket. All right. So the 3 biggest ones are going to go somewhere that I think I can get second, first, you know, somewhere around there, not no lower. But I'll take my other things, you know, these way offs, you know, the long gourds, the bushel gourds, the watermelons, the, you know, marrows and things like that. I'll take to those other way offs, and things. But, anyhow, each thing that you take to these way offs, if it's a different one, that's the reason why I said you grow, you know, 2, 3, 4, you know, of these plants. However many way offs you plan on attending, you should have at least one of each to take to that way off, because that helps you get money, and it helps you place and get you ribbons, get you plaques and things like that. I've seen plaques given out for the biggest squashes, you know, and the squash weigh 25 pounds, right? And technically these giant green squashes get 4, 5, 6, you know, 2,000 plus pounds now for a green squash. And I've seen them give a plaque for a 25-pound one. So take everything you got. It don't matter if it's a, you know, a second one that grew on the plant, you know, take it and get you something. Take a chance. See, you know, enter it. See if you can get something for it, you know. See if you can get a plaque for it. See if you can get a ribbon for it. See if you can place with it, you know. Last year, my tomatoes weren't doing any good, but I came out here the day that I got ready to leave for Spring Hope, and I said, there's a nice looking tomato there. It was like 1.8 pounds or something like that, right? And I was like, I'm going to take it down there and see. I took it inside first and weighed it, and I was like, I'm going to take it down there. And then Rodney Lane beat me with a 2 pound something. And I said, doggone it, he had the same idea I did. But, I mean, it came in second, right? Took my long gourd, one of my only long gourd I took last year, because the other ones I broke in my hand or broke fooling with them, trying to get them straight. Oh, long gourds are so frustrating. But anyhow, I took my long gourd down there too to Spring Hope and placed third with it, right? Didn't get anything for it. A lot of these places, you like, if it's not a pumpkin or a watermelon, you only get first place ribbons, right? Or first place somethings, right? You don't get anything after first place. But nevertheless, it was fun. Had they measured mine the correct way, which the correct way, everybody, I want everybody to know, I am against, dead set against, measuring those things in just a straight line. They don't grow in just a straight line, and I am against measuring in just a straight line. I am a measure the curve kind of guy, all right? I guarantee you this, and this is for all of you husbands and wives out there. I guarantee you the husband doesn't measure parts of his body in a straight line. I guarantee you he measures a curve if he's got one, okay? Peroni's runs rampant, and I guarantee you he's measuring the curve. Okay, I bet you he don't measure that thing in a straight line. So why do y'all measure my long gourd in a straight line and cut off about, I don't know, half of what it was, right? I think it was like 90 inches, and y'all cut over half of it off and gave me 48 inches in a straight line from tip to tip. Come on now, y'all. You should have measured that thing in a straight line. I had 90 inches, or excuse me, you should have measured the curve of that thing, because I had 90 inches there. And you should measure the outside of the curve, because that's the longest way that it grew. All right, now, and I'm just telling the truth now. Now, if you want to get technical about it, maybe you could do your math. So, what's going on over there? But you could do your math or whatever and figure out, you know, measure the outside of the curve, measure the inside of the curve. I did a video on this. But anyhow, all right, guys, nowhere in the rule books does it say it must be. Okay, I've done read the rule books, and they never changed it. Somebody just said, hey, I think we should start measuring them in a straight line. And everybody said, oh, okay, yeah, sounds good. Sounds like to me that one guy didn't like something. He must have got beat or something, and because he got whooped by somebody with a curve, then I think we should measure it in a straight line. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, if it's long, it's long. I mean, I think we should get every bit of it that it grew that. So I mean, why not? Why not? You know, I don't know. Anyhow, it's hard to get them to grow in a straight line. Is all I'm saying for the long gourds, and I believe you should measure them on the curve outside. And remember, Peronis runs rampant, and you ain't measuring yours like that. So, anyhow, hashtag Peronis. Anyways, you gotta get strategize and strategies, and you gotta get ready to grow, and you gotta know what you want to do, and be prepared, right? And don't go into anything kind of blindly. Try to figure out as much as you could. Sometimes you get information, sometimes you don't. I don't know if it slips people's minds or if they just don't want to tell you, you know, because they just don't want to tell you. I believe there's a small percentage of people that's like that, but I don't think it's a lot. I just think a lot of people don't remember to really think about it, right? Until you ask. So ask all the questions you can, right? Because I think a lot of times, like me, if somebody asks me, okay, yeah, this is what you need to do. If they don't ask me, I don't tell them, right? Because I don't think about telling them, right? So nobody was like, hey, you need to bring all your tomatoes here, or you need to bring all your long gourds here. You need to bring this. You need to bring that. So you just it's figuring it out, right? Nobody said you couldn't bring this or that, right? So it appears everything goes. You bring it, you weigh it, and whatnot. Find out the specifics about the area you're going to. Like this year coming right now, I'm learning how to grow sweet potatoes inside because I'm going to grow a sweet potato. I'm going to take that joker down there and I'm going to monkey stomp somebody in the sweet potato contest at Spring Hope if I go. Okay, I'm going to take me a big old sweet potato down there, $500 for first prize sweet potato. You think I ain't taking a sweet potato down there? You out of your mind. I'm taking a sweet potato down there. I'm about the size of a basketball, boss. For $500? Oh, yeah. But you got to learn every bit about where you're going. Ask the people that go there. Ask the people that have been there. What's the prize for this? What's the prize for that? Try to edge up there as close as you can get to first, second, third. All right, and strategize best you can. All right, but don't get upset if it's your first year and you don't make the cutoff. All right, I didn't make the cutoff every time, but I went. I didn't get anything out of Spring Hope. Nothing. I didn't win not a thing out of Spring Hope. I came in like 6th or something, right? And we thought everybody that was up here thought I was going to have a solid 3rd. Oh yeah, 3rd slipped really quick. Oh yeah, the bottom fell plumb out of 3rd. Because all of a sudden, somebody had a 1,000-pound pumpkin, and I was like, oh. Then this little 700-pound pumpkin weighed almost 1,000 pounds. It was like 30% heavier, some crazy mess. I was like, oh. And then the pumpkin after that beat me by like 2 pounds or something. It was like 911, right? And mine weighed 915 the day that I picked it, and 908 down there on that scale. So I mean, so then I went from there to 6th. I mean, it just happened. So I didn't make any money out of it, but I did sell that pumpkin. In fact, I sold it for like $950 or something. So it was a good payday. It was a good pumpkin. I didn't get my seeds out of it though. That's the sad part, because if I had got the seeds out of it, I could have made a whole lot more. And it was a good cross. But anyways, you just got to kind of learn everything. I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands that wants to go to the GPC weigh-offs, kind of what it entails, what you can do. There'll be more videos coming out on this. Specifically, I'm going to try to do like a whole series explaining different things about the GPC weigh-offs and everything, and why you should go and all that. What the marks are for different things to, so you can get, ribbons and awards and stuff for your growing. Because I'll be honest with you, outside of the money that I need, the money is not what I grow for. I don't grow for the money. I don't do that. I grow to push myself and see how big of something I can grow, because I love it. It's just the money I need to continue to grow, because, I mean, it's expensive to do this. I ain't gonna lie. It was like $1,000 last year in fertilizer. So, I mean, if you want, there's transparency for you. You know, $1,000 in fertilizer. Your wife's kind of start looking at you kind of crooked now. They're out of the corner of their eye when you start doing that stuff, and their head starts spinning like the Exorcist when you start asking for more money for fertilizers. All right, plus all the other gizmos and gadgets you got to have to grow with, right? You know, the money is not what I grow for. I grow to push myself to see how big of something I can grow, because I love it. I have a love and a passion for growing that's you know, insane, all right, to a lot of people, but it's fun, and I enjoy it. It brings peace to me. But on the flip side of that, you know, it's nice to go down there and get a ribbon and get an award, and, you know, have a plaque or something of that nature, right, given to you and said, hey, this is for you because you did this, right? And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel really good. It's a great experience, and I love it. And you know, and it's a learning experience. It really is, especially your first year. And heck, I'll probably be learning this year. But it's just a ton of fun, and the money is just the cherry on top to help grow the next year. That's all it is. The money's just to help make you a better grower the following year. It's not for anything else, all right? Because it don't bring happiness to you. It don't bring anything else. It just helps you put in the money into your patch and into your plants, you know, what you need to put into them. So don't ever think that this is about the money, because it's not. It's not about the money. I could think of better ways to take a whole lot less money and turn it into a whole lot better profit than I could growing pumpkins or growing some kind of giant something, right? But it's a love and a passion that we have, and that's why we do it. And we want to see you guys succeed. We want to see other growers, new growers, you know, rookie growers, younger growers coming and learning about this and having fun with it and enjoying the experiences we enjoy, right? And having a love and a passion for it like we have, and making the community a great place. Let me tell you something. The giant growing community is an awesome community to be in. Bar none. There is no other, bar none, that is like this. I'll guarantee it. When one of us growers are down, there's a whole community there to pick that grower up, all right? And it's awesome the way they come together and do things. It's awesome the way they, you know, they give the seeds to each other, and, you know, for each other's auctions. They don't ask no questions. They say, oh, you need seeds? Here you go. And send them to you, you know, for you to auction off and everything. It's just great, you know, to make money for your clubs and stuff. So it's a great community, and I encourage everybody to get into it and get involved in it and have fun with it and get your kids involved in it, right? And your neighbors and your community, right? And just have a blast, because it's so much fun doing it. So I hope I've explained this kind of well, as far as why you need to strategize, why you need to plan, why you need to figure it out, why you need to know the prize money, why you need to know all the ins and outs about it, right? and your distances, you know, your distances from your house, you know, to where the way-offs are and stuff, just so, you know, you don't want to be driving all over the country for this, right? You want to go where the money is, but you also want to go where you know you can win. And don't do you no good to drive. You know, it would do me no good to drive to California with a pumpkin that's 1,000 pounds or 1,500 pounds, because I'd probably lose, right? Now, if I had a 2,100 or 22 or something like that, it'd pay me to go to California. I mean, it would. But, you know, nothing. So you got to kind of figure that out. You got to figure out if the juice is worth the squeeze on some of these way-offs. And once you figure that out, once you figure everything else out, you'll be good to go. So figure out all the pay scales, figure out what payouts there are for what, and grow those things and grow them to the best of your ability. So anyways, guys, I hope I've explained this enough. Hope you understand why I've done it. And we're going to get on with the rest of the video today. We're going to post this one so you guys can watch it while I make the rest of this video for tonight. So see you later.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to share.
Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome. And subscribe.